Are you going to the Singapore Grand Prix for the first time? Are you looking for tips and tricks from someone who's done the Singapore Grand Prix before? Hi, my name is Lauren. I have been to 4 Grand Prix so far, 3 in Australia, 1 in Singapore, and I will be at the Singapore Grand Prix later this year. By no means am I an expert on actually going to a Grand Prix. However, these are just some of the things that have actually helped me as someone who's been to a Grand Prix before and also has traveled for sport. Now, you've arrived in Singapore from a long flight, you are exhausted, you have a bunch of luggage. What is the best way to get from the airport to your place of accommodation? If I've just arrived in a country that I'm pretty unfamiliar with, the last thing I want to be doing is schlepping around luggage on a public transportation system that I'm pretty unfamiliar with. The best options I would actually recommend is taxi or rideshare. Once you've actually arrived in Changi Airport, passed through immigration, pretty much where you'll actually go and pick up your luggage, they'll actually have these big signs everywhere about your options on how to actually get into Singapore itself. And you'll probably see something like this one here, where it actually has rideshare options with QR codes, and some of these QR codes do actually have discounts attached to them, where you can actually download the app and book a rideshare option for you. To be honest, rideshare and taxi are just as reliable as each other. They're pretty good, but if you are just wanting to save a little bit extra money, go rideshare. As for which brand, it's personally up to you. Personally, I prefer Grab, mainly because Grab is Southeast Asian Uber. If you're going to another country after you've finished in Singapore, say Thailand, Indonesia, or Malaysia, for example, you can still use Grab in those countries as well. With my own personal experiences of using Grab, you would be roughly paying about $25 to $35 if you were going from Changi Airport to downtown Singapore, say Chinatown, for example. It can be slightly more expensive because of the road closures for the Grand Prix. However, I've never personally paid anything more than $25 to get from Changi Airport to downtown Singapore using Grab. However, I completely get it if you are on a really super tight budget and using Grab is not an option for you. That's completely okay. The best option is using the MRT from Changi Airport. It will cost you roughly about $2 to get from Changi Airport to Chinatown MRT station. However, do note that the MRT does not run between midnight and 5:30 a.m. So if you are actually arriving into Changi Airport between those times, taxi and rideshare are your only options to get into downtown Singapore. However, if you are wanting to use public transportation to get from Changi Airport to downtown Singapore, my best bet for you is to use Google Maps. As someone who's traveled to 32 countries around the world and has lived in 4 countries, I highly recommend Google Maps because it is really super helpful, particularly if you are in a country that you're not familiar with and don't speak the language. It can tell you what bus or train you need to catch, which direction it's heading, as well as even actually how much it will cost you to go from point A to point B. However, when it comes to public transportation in Singapore, I will be doing another video very shortly where I'll dive a little bit more deeper into how to use public transportation in Singapore. Safe travels. Look forward to actually making another video next week where we can talk a little bit more about tips and tricks for the Singapore Grand Prix. Stay tuned. Peace out, guys.